Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Durrett's Take. Sorry, it's been a while. March Madness was pretty fun to watch, and even though my bracket was kind of busted by the Final Four, at least it was still, fun to watch the good teams win and see what needs to be done in this day of college basketball in order to win. So I liked that. It's been a couple weeks now to the UFL, so if you haven't started to get into that yet, please do. And then I will have another video come out at some point next week with my NFL mock draft. But for this video, I'm going to come out with my 2026 NBA playoff predictions. So let's get started with the play-in tournament. Starts tonight. We got the 10 seed Miami Heat versus 9 seed Charlotte. I can see either or in this game. Like Charlotte, has good players, especially offensive players in LaMelo Ball, Colin Knippel, who potentially rookie of the year, and Miles Bridges and others. They've been playing better as of late. However, the reason why I think Miami could win is because Charlotte's not a great defense, and Miami specifically has the coaching advantage with Eric Spoelstra and their success in playing tournament games. So I think that Miami will find a way to win their game tonight. And then you got 8 seed Orlando versus 7 seed Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia wins that one, and I'd be surprised if that one's close, in all honesty. So then you get Miami versus Orlando game for the final spot in the playoffs. And I've kind of gone back and forth on who's going to win this one. Again, you have to take regular season records with a grain of salt, but Orlando did sweep Miami in the regular season. And again, with Miami's track record in the tournament, Eric Spoelstra, I can see Miami winning this game again and get into the playoffs like they did last year as a 10 seed. They won 2 road games to get into the playoffs. I can totally see that happening again, but I'm going to go with Orlando just to find a way to survive and get the last playoff spot. Then in the West, you got 10 seed Golden State versus 9 seed LA Clippers. This should be an interesting matchup. Steph Curry versus Kawhi. The reason why I'm going to go with the Clippers, though, is that Steph Curry is apparently going to be limited coming off the injury. And the Clippers, have, a better role players than the Warriors do. So I'm going to have Clippers to win the game. And then you got 8 seed Portland versus 7 seed Phoenix. I'm going Phoenix there easily. And then you get a Clippers versus Portland matchup. Winner gets the final spot in the West. I think the Clippers should win this game, unless they're ready to, give up on the season. Just because Portland, besides Denny Ajiva, like there's not much that they have there versus Clippers, where you have Starling and Kawhi, and then you have other good role players with multiple years of playoff experience, like a Brook Lopez and Ben Mathurin and stuff like that. So I think and a good veteran coach in Ty Lue. So therefore, I do think the Clippers will win that one to get the final spot in the playoffs. So now for the Eastern Conference, you have 8 seed Atlanta versus 1 seed Detroit. This could be a sweep, but I'll be nice and do a gentleman sweep. I have Detroit in 5. 7 seed Philadelphia versus 2 seed Boston. This one could be interesting. Could go 6 and 7, but I think Boston actually might take care of business and do a gentleman sweep here and get them at 5. I just don't trust Philadelphia in the playoffs right now. And then 6 seed Atlanta versus 3 seed New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks can't mess around the series because if they mess around or slip up, then the Hawks could take advantage of that. But I don't feel like they will have too many slip-ups to where it causes serious doubt in the series. So I have Knicks winning in 6 games. And then 5 seed Toronto versus 4 seed Cleveland. I'm going to have Cleveland win this in 5 games. They have the better stars versus Toronto, and Toronto should be frankly happy that they're here after not making the playoffs last year. Then in the Eastern Conference semifinals, you'd have 4 seed Cleveland versus 1 seed Detroit. This would be a fascinating matchup because for years and years, Cleveland hasn't been able to get over that semifinal hump. They keep on being the quote unquote pretenders, if you will. Well, now you're not only do you got James Harden versus Darius Garland, which is an upgrade, but you also finally got a healthy team. Because the last 2 years in the playoffs, you've not had a healthy team, which is why he went out. So this is your chance to get to a young team in Detroit with not a lot of playoff experience. This is your chance to get them, and I think they'll come up just short. As I think Detroit will win in 7 games. So then you get the Knicks versus Boston, a rematch of last year's semifinals. This time, I think it will go 7 games. And this time, I think Boston's going to get their revenge, knowing they can't look over the Knicks anymore. So, and plus, I don't think Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby offensively, I don't think they'll do what they did last year in that series against them, because that was the key for Knicks to overcoming that series last year. So then for the Eastern Conference Finals, you have 2 seed Boston versus 1 seed Detroit. I do think this is where experience will matter. I think Boston will get Detroit here, and I have them winning in 6 games to go to the finals. Now in the Western Conference Finals, you got 8 seed LA Clippers versus 1 seed Oklahoma City. Now, if the Clippers were fully stacked, that this would be a little bit more of an interesting series. But I think Oklahoma City would take care of business here after them doing the gentleman sweep, winning in 5 games. Next, you got 7 seed Phoenix versus 2 seed San Antonio. I don't think the Spurs will mess around here. I think it'll be another gentleman sweep and have them winning 5 games. And then you got 6 seed Minnesota versus 3 seed Denver. We've loved this matchup in the playoffs over the years, and I feel like it could be another good series this time around. I think where the difference is this time around is that Minnesota's lack of bench production. I feel like that will be a difference maker in this series, because especially now that Denver's more deep than it was in years past. So I feel Denver's going to win this series in 6. It could go 7, but I think 6. Next, you got 5 seed Houston versus 4 seed LA Lakers. Because of Luka out, because of Austin Reeves out, I'm going to go Houston with the gentleman sweep, winning in 5. 41-year-old LeBron can't do it all anymore. Next, you get 5 seed Houston versus 1 seed Oklahoma City. So you got KD versus against his former team there. But I'm going to have Oklahoma City get another gentleman sweep here, winning in 5 games. I feel like Houston not having a true point guard with Fran VanVleet out for the season, I feel like that's going to hinder them as the playoffs go on. And then next, you got 3 seed Denver versus 2 seed San Antonio. This should be a very, very fun series, assuming it were to happen. And I feel like it will go full 7 games. I feel like this is where the playoff experience will matter here, and I have Denver getting the win there. So then you get a Denver Oklahoma City Western Conference Finals matchup, and when these two teams played in the semifinals of last year in the playoffs, it went 7 games. So I feel like it will go 7 games once again. And again, this is why I said back in the preseason, I feel like the difference maker with Denver having a better bench than they did last year could be the difference maker. And maybe since Oklahoma City made a deep run last year in the playoffs and they're going on another deep run here, maybe they acquire an injury or two, because we usually see that when teams go on long playoff runs in back-to-back years. Maybe something like that happens, and therefore I have Denver getting the win there. So you have a Denver-Boston finals matchup, and I feel like this can go either way. I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games. My gut feeling, though, is to have. I'm going to go with Denver in 6 games. And the difference is, even though Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Derek White, even though, those players are going to do their thing, I just don't trust the bench for the Celtics to step up in this moment like I do with Denver's bench. And obviously, Jokic doing his thing, and Jason Tatum still, getting rhythm, overcoming, sitting out most of the year. That maybe could be a factor as well. So I have Denver winning it all. I'm sticking to my preseason prediction for now. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about me. Thank you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day.